Hello, I just wanted to record a short video for anyone who's joined either the new Facebook group, the Heart of Presence Facebook group, or for anyone who's following the Heart of Presence meditations in a Zoom group with me, or indeed on the Conscious Conversations videos that I'm making with Leonie Morris and Joe Scott. And I just wanted to say a little something about the practice of present moment awareness and the various different ways that we can use it. So it's tempting sometimes to think that meditation or present moment awareness practice is really all about achieving a state of calm and bliss and peacefulness. And while that can often be the effect of it, and that's really great if that's what we're looking for, and often we are, often we're looking for a grounded, calm, peaceful state. But also, I use these practices, the practice of present moment awareness, and so do other people, and lots of other teachers and guides will explain these practices, the use of these practices for different reasons as well. So it's not always about kind of it's not always about beginning with an intention to reach a place of peaceful calm. Sometimes these practices can bring us clarity and alertness. They can help us see things that perhaps have been hidden from our conscious awareness or conscious understanding around the patterns of our lives, habits, routines, relationship difficulties, anything really that perhaps has been floating underneath the surface and potentially causing some disturbance, or even just creating a roadblock, or you know, however we describe it. The point I'm trying to make is that these practices can be used for any number of reasons. So for today, for example, I've been feeling really quite tired and sluggish. I've had sort of a feeling of fogginess in the head. So one of the things that this practice can help with is just making sensible choices. So in the recent videos with Dr. Leonie Morris and nutritionist Joe Scott, we talk about making sure we're hydrated, adopting routines and habits that are beneficial to our health. Less time staring at a screen, for example, more time getting outside in the open air, breathing fresh air, seeing sunlight. All these types of activities can really help. But sometimes we're locked into a pattern of behavior or a routine of behavior that's not serving us very well. And we're struggling to break out of it because we're just on autopilot. So one of the things that I find really helpful that comes from my practice of present moment awareness is that sometimes the most obvious choice becomes more obvious and available. So I know intellectually that drinking water or taking breaks away from my desk and breaks away from the screen to walk around the block or whatever, I know intellectually that those are very helpful things, that I perform better when I do that, that I feel clearer, I have more energy, or I'm in a state of more peace and contentment and calm. And if there are problems or difficulties in life, a difficult phone call that I have to deal with, or a disagreement with a family member or a friend, a troubling situation to try and overcome, then I'm much more skillful in approaching those situations and responding to the inevitable challenges that life presents to us. I'm much more skillful and resourceful when I listen to the simple, obvious signs that my body's trying to give me, and that some of the simple approaches that I know already work. So present moment awareness can also help shine a light on what's working for us and shine a light on perhaps what we need to let go of. So I just wanted to say that for anyone who's joining the new Facebook group, for anyone who's following the practices on YouTube or that comes along to the Zoom groups, or is planning to come along to the Zoom groups, that the meditation that I share with people, the present moment awareness, whatever we call it, it's not just about getting ourselves into a state of peacefulness and bliss. And in fact, these practices work much better when we begin them from wherever we are. So often people say to me, I will come along to one of those Zoom sessions one day, Mike, but actually I'm just not in the right headspace for it. And that's exactly the kind of time that these types of practices can help. This approach of simply stopping, listening to silence, checking in with the body, and noticing that within our own direct experience in this moment, there's a dimension of reality, an aspect of our own conscious awareness that isn't lost in that state that we feel isn't the right state to come to a meditation group in. So a lot of you will perhaps have been practicing meditation for a while and maybe know this already, that we begin where we are, and that there's no intention necessarily to reach a desired state with meditation, but simply a willingness to observe what's already there. So we don't then set up that feeling that we're no good at it or we can't succeed at it. Because some people might come to a meditation group and think, well, I know I just won't get to a state that's peaceful and calm and feels blissful. Well, very few people do, in fact. It is possible to experience that more and more frequently, the more familiar we become with what I'm pointing to in those moments of the meditations or those moments of the sessions where we stop and listen, stop and sense, and we're really hearing with our attention. We're not just listening with our ears or just looking with our eyes. Stopping to notice that, or asking the question, is there something here in my own direct experience that's not tired or fatigued? Is there something in my own conscious awareness that is free, even in the midst of a feeling of being in bondage or feeling trapped? So a lot of the times at the moment I feel trapped by my own long-standing negative patterns of behavior that have been practiced for years and years and years, so that the engaging in those habits or in those patterns is automatic because I've practiced it for 40 odd years. But this way of practicing is relatively new. I've only been practicing in this way on and off, and not particularly regularly. So there's very little discipline about much of what I've done in my whole life, and even with these practices, it's quite hard to introduce a new routine, especially when it offers us a change from what we've done before. So I just wanted to record that and share that with you. I'll post this on my YouTube channel and in the Facebook group, Heart of Presence. So thank you for watching. I hope you found it helpful, and do come along to one of the Zoom meditation groups. Do post in the Facebook group any questions or experiences that you're having, difficulties that you have with maintaining this type of practice, beginning it. For me, one of the reasons that I'm really keen to meet and join with others is that I just find it so much easier to stick to this practice and to explore this dimension of presence, to explore this dimension of space, stillness, spirit, whatever we like to call it. I find it much easier to stick to that kind of practice when I'm joining with others. So I hope you found that helpful, and I look forward to seeing some of you in our next meditation.